Make sure to write the story in simple, basic English as requested. Be careful with your citations. Only use tags if you're directly referencing search results, which doesn't apply to creative writing. Commander. Jiwoo Park stood at the back of the huge meeting hall. All around her were aliens from across the galaxy. Some had scales, others had tentacles, and a few glowed with strange light. As the only human in the room, she felt many eyes on her. Galactic Confederation had existed for thousands of years. Hundreds of alien species worked together, sharing technology and protecting each other. Earth had only joined last year, and many aliens still viewed humans as primitive newcomers. And now, the Draconian Empire welcomes our comments on the human. Application for trade routes, announced the meeting leader, a tall blue alien. General Talk of the Draconians stepped forward. His red scales gleamed under the lights as he towered over the speaking platform. The Draconians were known as fierce warriors who had conquered many systems before joining the Confederation. Why should we grant prime trade routes to these humans? Torque's voice boomed. Their ships barely reach light speed. Their weapons would not harm a Draconian child's toy. He pointed a clawed finger at Commander Park. They send this small female to represent them, not even their strongest warrior. Laughter filled the room. Commander Park kept her face calm, though her hands tightened into fists at her sides. Perhaps in 100 years they might be worthy of our attention, Torque continued. Until then, they should be grateful we allow them to sit in this room at all. More laughter, louder this time. Park felt her cheeks grow hot, but said nothing. This was not the time to speak up. After the meeting, Park walked quickly through the space station's wide halls. Admiral Do-hyun Kim, her mentor and Earth's highest military leader, waited for her near their ship. How bad was it today, he asked. The usual, Park replied. The Draconians led the mockery, the others followed. Kim nodded slowly. Let them laugh. It serves our purpose. They entered their small ship, modest compared to the grand vessels of other species. Once inside, with the door sealed, Park let her frustration show. Admiral, I don't understand why we continue this act. Earth has been developing in secret for decades. We have technology that would shock them all. Why do we pretend to be weak? Admiral Kim touched a hidden panel, activating security measures to prevent any listening devices from working. Patience, Commander. Remember your history. When Earth nations first met centuries ago, what happened? The stronger ones often destroyed or enslaved the weaker ones, Park answered. Exactly. And we have reason to believe the Confederation might not be as peaceful as they claim. We need time to understand the true power dynamics. Their ships' communication system suddenly lit up with an urgent message. Park pressed the receive button. Commander, Admiral, said a worried voice. This is Captain Hyunjin Bay from Titan 9 Colony. We're under attack. Multiple ships just appeared and started firing on our settlement. The message cut off with static. Park looked at the Admiral in shock. Titan 9, that's one of our most distant colonies. Who would attack there? Admiral Kim's face grew dark. Computer, replay the last 10 seconds and enhance background images. The message played again. In the corner of the screen, they could now see the shape of an enemy ship. Draconian light cruiser, Kim said grimly. Not their main fleet ships, but definitely their design. We should call an emergency meeting with the Confederation Council, Park suggested. If the Draconians are attacking our colonies, the Council must take action. Kim shook his head. No, the Council will demand proof. By the time we convince them, more colonies could be lost. He pressed another hidden button. A secure line opened to Earth's president. Madam President, Kim said when the connection was established, we have a situation. Titan 9 is under attack, likely by Draconian forces. President Hana Choi's face showed no surprise, only determination. Confirmed by visual? Yes, madam. Then we proceed as planned. How long will you need to reach Prometheus base? 2 days at normal speed, 6 hours if we drop our pretense and use the real engines. The president thought for a moment. Maintain your cover for now. I'll send the Eclipse team to Titan 9 for rescue operations. They can move faster without being noticed. After the call ended, Park looked at her admiral. Do you think the Draconians know about our secret projects? No, Kim replied firmly. They believe their own propaganda. They think we're weak. That's why they're starting with distant colonies, testing our response. As their ship prepared to leave the station, they watched a massive draconian warship through the viewport. It gleamed with weapons and armor, a display of power meant to intimidate. "Little do they know," whispered Admiral Kim, "that hidden in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter sits the Prometheus, more advanced than anything the Confederation has ever seen." Park nodded. "A dreadnought unlike any other, built with technology we developed ourselves or adapted from the bits and pieces we've gathered. For now we play the part they expect," said Kim. "We act weak and scared. We beg for help that won't come." "And then?" asked Park. A rare smile crossed Kim's face. "And then we show them why Earth survived its own violent history, why humans thrived despite endless wars and challenges." Their small ship pulled away from the station, seemingly slow and clumsy compared to the elegant alien vessels. No one watching would guess that beneath its ordinary shell, it contained technology centuries beyond what humans publicly admitted to having. "They laugh at humanity today," Kim said quietly. "Soon, that laughter will stop." The emergency lights bathed Earth Command Center in red as President Hannah Choi entered. Screens around the room showed the destruction at Titan IX colony. Buildings burned. People ran for safety. The attack had been swift and deadly. "Status report," President Choi demanded. Defense Minister Junho Ryu stepped forward. His normally neat uniform looked wrinkled as if he had been wearing it for days. 6,000 dead, Madam President. 2,000 missing. The colony's main dome is breached. Most survivors are in the underground shelters." The President's face remained calm, but her eyes showed her anger. "And the attackers? Gone before our rescue ships arrived," said Intelligence Director Jian Kang. They left this message broadcasting on all channels. The main screen changed to show the scaled face of a draconian officer. "People of Earth, the attack on your colony was a regrettable navigational error. Our fleet was conducting training exercises and mistook your settlement for an abandoned testing site. The Draconian Empire offers its condolences." The message ended, leaving the room in silence. "A navigational error," repeated the President. "Do they think we are fools?" "They do," replied Admiral Kim, who had just arrived from the spaceport. "That is why they attack. They believe we cannot fight back." Commander Park stood beside him, her uniform still dusty from travel. "Madam President, we've received reports of draconian ships near 3 more of our outer colonies." President Choi's eyes narrowed. "Have you brought this to the Confederation Council?" "Yes," said Ambassador Lee, joining them from another room. "I just finished the emergency session. The Council has ruled this a minor border dispute that does not require Confederation involvement." 6,000 dead is minor?" asked Minister Ryu, his voice rising. "To them, yes," Ambassador Lee replied. "The Altarians lost millions in their conflict with the Zurin Horde a century ago. They see our losses as insignificant." The President walked to the window overlooking New Seoul City. The lights below showed life continuing as normal. Most citizens had no idea of the danger. "The Draconians are testing us," said Commander Park. "They attack, then wait to see how we respond. And when we show weakness, they will attack again," added Admiral Kim, each time more boldly. "What are our options?" asked the President. Defense Minister Ryu brought up a display of Earth's official defense forces. "We have 50 patrol ships that the Confederation knows about. Against even a small draconian battle group, they would last perhaps 10 minutes. "We could try diplomacy again," suggested Ambassador Lee without much hope. "While more colonies burn?" Minister Ryu shook his head. "No, we must show strength." The room fell silent again. Everyone looked at Admiral Kim. "Madam President," Kim said formally, "I request authorization to implement the Prometheus Protocol." Many people in the room gasped. Major Min Jae-yoon, the Ik-cho, a youngest officer present, whispered to his neighbor, "The Prometheus is real. I thought it was just a rumor." President Choi turned from the window. "If we reveal the Prometheus, there is no going back. The Confederation will know we have been deceiving them about our technology level." "Better that than watching our people die," said Commander Park. "The Draconians have already assembled a battle fleet," reported Director Kang, checking her datapad. 200 ships heading toward Earth. They will arrive in 5 days. They expect us to surrender, said Admiral Kim, to become their servants, without a fight. President Choi walked to the central command table. Show me the Prometheus. A hologram appeared above the table, showing a massive ship hidden among the asteroids between Mars and Jupiter. Its black hull seemed to absorb light. Blue energy lines pulsed across its surface. Is it ready? The president asked. Yes, replied Admiral Kim. Captain Hyunjin Bae and her crew have been living aboard for months, running final tests. The ship exceeds all design specifications. And its weapons? Beyond anything the Confederation has seen, said Commander Park. But more importantly, its defensive systems can neutralize an enemy without destroying them. President Choi stared at the hologram for a long moment. The fate of humanity would be decided by her next words. Very well. Admiral Kim, you have authorization to implement the Prometheus Protocol. Commander Park, you will coordinate from Earth Command. As the meeting ended, Park approached Admiral Kim in the hallway. Do you think this is what the Draconians want? To force us to reveal the Prometheus? Kim shook his head. No. They truly believe we are weak. Their spies have only seen what we wanted them to see. And the other Confederation species? Could they be working with the Draconians? Perhaps. Or perhaps they simply don't care about humans enough to intervene. Kim's communicator beeped. It's Captain Bay. The Prometheus is powering up its systems. In the depths of space, hidden in the asteroid belt, the massive ship came to life. Inside, Captain Bay stood on the bridge. Unlike the small ships Earth showed to the galaxy, the Prometheus bridge was large and advanced. All systems online, reported Lieutenant Taehyun Shin. Stealth field at maximum. Begin final preparations, ordered Captain Bay. The Draconian fleet approaches. Soon the galaxy will learn the truth about humanity. Back on Earth, President Choi addressed the world leaders in a secure meeting. For decades, we have hidden our true capabilities. We have endured mockery and now attacks. Some asked why we did not show our strength sooner. The answer is simple. We hoped it would not be necessary. She looked at each leader's face on her screen. But now we have no choice. The Draconians come to conquer Earth. They laugh at humanity today. Soon they will laugh no more. The Draconian battle fleet moved through space like a swarm of metal insects. 200 warships arranged in perfect attack formation, their weapons primed and ready. At the center flew the command ship, twice the size of the others. On its bridge stood High Commander Torque, his scaled skin glowing with pride. "Show me Earth again," he ordered. The view screen changed to show the blue planet growing larger as they approached. A few small defense stations orbited it, along with perhaps 30 patrol ships. Nothing that could stop even a fraction of the Draconian force. Pathetic, Torque said, his sharp teeth showing in what passed for a smile among his kind. These humans thought they could join the Confederation as equals. They will serve us well once they learn their place. His second-in-command, Subcommander Vex, approached with a report. Our scouts have confirmed Earth has no hidden fleets in the solar system. Their colonies have been evacuated. They appear to be gathering all forces near their homeworld. "Final futile stand," said Torque. "Open all communication channels. Let us offer them a chance to surrender before we demonstrate our power." On Earth, in the orbital command center, Commander Ji-Woo Park watched the approaching fleet with calm eyes. Beside her, Admiral Kim studied tactical displays showing the enemy formation. "They're exactly where we want them," Park said quietly. "Yes," agreed the Admiral. "Captain Bay reports the Prometheus is in position. All systems ready." Park nodded. "The Draconians are hailing us on all frequencies." "Put them through," ordered Admiral Kim. "Let's hear what they have to say before we answer." The main screen filled with Torque's reptilian face. His voice boomed through the command center. "People of Earth, your pitiful defenses are no match for our might. Surrender now, and we will be merciful. Resist, and we will turn your cities to ash. You have 1 hour to lower your shields and prepare to welcome your new masters." The message ended. Several junior officers looked nervous, but Admiral Kim merely checked his watch. 58 minutes until they expect our surrender," he said calmly. "Perfect timing," Park turned to her communications officer. "Send the signal to Captain Bay. Authorization code, Prometheus awakens." In the asteroid belt, hidden among the floating rocks and ice, Captain Hyunjin Bae received the message on the bridge of humanity's secret weapon. "Authorization confirmed," she told her crew. "Prepare to disengage stealth systems on my mark." Lieutenant Tae Hyun Shin worked quickly at his station. "All weapon systems online. Phase shift defenses at full capacity. The Draconians have no idea we're here." Captain Bay stood tall, her uniform crisp despite months in space. "For years we've trained for this moment. Today, humanity shows its true face to the galaxy." She took a deep breath. "Disengage stealth systems, now." In the vastness of space between Mars and the approaching Draconian fleet, something impossible happened. The stars seemed to bend and warp as a massive object suddenly appeared where nothing had been before. First came the nose of the ship, sharp and black as night, then more and more materialized until the entire vessel hung in space like a dark star. The Prometheus dwarfed even the largest Confederation dreadnoughts. Over 2 kilometers long, its obsidian hull absorbed, rather than reflected light. Pulsing blue lines traced patterns across its surface, glowing with energy. Unlike the blocky warships of other species, the Prometheus had smooth, flowing lines that spoke of advanced engineering beyond anything the galaxy had seen. On the Draconian flagship, alarms blared as sensors detected the sudden appearance. "Hi, Commander!" shouted a panicked officer. "Massive energy signature in Sector 7. Torque rushed to the view screen, his confidence faltering for the first time. "What is that? Where did it come from?" "Unknown vessel," reported Sub-Commander Vex, his scales paling with fear. "Size one impossible. Our sensors must be malfunctioning. They show it as larger than a Confederation capital ship." "Impossible," roared Torque. "The humans don't have such technology." Another officer called out, "We're being hailed by the unknown vessel." "On screen," ordered Torque, trying to hide his surprise. Captain Bay's calm human face appeared on the Draconian view screen. "Attention, Draconian fleet. This is Captain Hyunjin Bay of the Earth Defense Force vessel Prometheus. You have entered Earth space with hostile intent. Power down your weapons and withdraw, or we will be forced to neutralize the threat you pose." Torque recovered his composure enough to laugh. "One ship? You think one ship can stand against 200? Whatever trick allowed you to hide, it won't save you now." Captain Bay's expression didn't change. "This is not a trick, High Commander. This is the culmination of decades of human innovation. I repeat, withdraw your fleet. Prepare all weapons." Torque commanded his fleet. "Target that human vessel. Show them what happens to those who challenge the Draconian Empire." In the Confederation Council chamber, an emergency session had been called as news of the confrontation spread. The massive screens showed the Draconian fleet facing off against the single human vessel. "What are we seeing?" asked the Altarian representative, their crystalline body glittering with agitation. "The humans have hidden such technology from us." Ambassador Sung-Ho Lee stood before the council, his face betraying nothing. "The Confederation refused to help when our colony was attacked. Earth must defend itself." "That ship," said the Zurin representative in awe. "It cannot be real." In Earth's command center, President Choi watched with her advisors as the Draconian fleet moved to attack position. "Will the Prometheus hold against so many ships?" asked Defense Minister Ryu. Admiral Kim nodded with absolute confidence. "The Draconians believe numbers equal strength. They're about to learn differently." Commander Park added quietly, "They laughed at humanity's weakness. Now they will witness our strength." On the screens, the Draconian fleet opened fire, hundreds of energy beams converging on the solitary human vessel. The darkness of space lit up with destructive power enough to shatter a moon. The darkness of space lit up as hundreds of Draconian energy weapons fired at once. Their combined power could destroy a small moon. The beams struck the Prometheus directly, creating a blinding flash that made everyone watching shield their eyes. "Direct hit!" shouted Sub-Commander Vex on the Draconian flagship. "The human ship must be—" His words died as the light faded. The Prometheus hung in space completely untouched, Around it shimmered a faint blue field that pulsed gently, absorbing the last traces of the attack. "Impossible," whispered High Commander Torque. "Nothing could survive that." On the bridge of the Prometheus, Captain Hyunjin Bei stood calmly. "Damage report." Lieutenant Taihyun Shin checked his screens. "No damage, Captain. Phase shift defense field holding at 97% capacity. The draconian weapons barely registered." Captain Bei nodded. "Open a channel to Earth Command." Commander Ji Woo. Park's face appeared on the screen. "Prometheus, we saw the attack. Are you intact?" "Fully operational, Commander," replied Captain Bei. "Request permission to demonstrate our defensive capabilities." In Earth's command center, Park looked to Admiral Kim, who nodded. "Permission granted, Captain," Park said. "Remember, minimum. Casualties. We want to end this conflict, not escalate it." "Understood," said Captain Bei before turning to her weapons officer. "Deploy gravity lances. Target their engines and weapon systems only." On the outside of the Prometheus, panels slid open to reveal strange devices unlike any conventional weapons. They didn't fire beams or missiles. Instead, they emitted invisible waves that bent the fabric of space itself. The first draconian ship suddenly stopped moving, then another, and another. Across the fleet, engines failed as localized gravity fields thousands of times stronger than normal pinned the vessels in place. "What's happening?" demanded Torque, as his flagship shuddered and went still. "Engineering! Report!" "Our engines won't." "Respond," came the panicked reply. "Something is holding us in place." Torque watched in horror as blue energy arced across his weapons systems, shutting them down one by one. Not just on his ship, but across his entire fleet. In the Confederation Council chamber, the representatives of 100 alien species watched in silence. What they were seeing should not be possible. No known technology could neutralize an entire fleet without destroying it. "The humans have mastered gravity manipulation," whispered the Altarian representative in awe. "They've been hiding their true technological level from us all along." Ambassador Lee stood proudly before them. "We developed what we needed to survive." The Prometheus represents decades of human innovation. "But why hide it?" asked the Zuran representative. "History taught us caution," replied Lee. "When advanced civilizations meet less developed ones, the results are often unfortunate for the latter." On the Prometheus, Captain Bei watched as her crew efficiently disabled the draconian fleet. Not a single enemy ship had been destroyed, but none could move or fight. "Captain," called Lieutenant Shin, "the draconian flagship is hailing us." "On screen," ordered Bei. High Commander Torque's face appeared, his scales pale with rage and fear. "What have you done to my fleet? Release us immediately." "Your fleet attacked an Earth colony without provocation," replied Captain Bei calmly. "Then you came to our homeworld with the intent to conquer. We have simply ensured you can do no more harm." This is some trick," Torque sputtered. "Humans do not have such technology." "But we do," said Bei. "For years we've watched and learned. While you mocked us, we built. While you laughed, we prepared." In Earth's command center, Admiral Kim smiled slightly as he watched the exchange. "The Prometheus is performing exactly as designed." "Should we inform the Confederation about our other ships?" asked Commander Park quietly. "Not yet," replied Kim. "Let them wonder what else we might have hidden." On the screen, they could see draconian ships hanging helpless in space. Some were slowly rotating, their crews unable to control their movement. Others were completely dark, all power systems shut down. "Phase 2, ordered Admiral Kim. "Let's show them what else the Prometheus can do." Commander Park relayed the order to Captain Bei, who nodded in understanding. "Lieutenant Shin, activate." "The restoration beam," said Captain Bei. "Target the damaged draconian vessels first." A new type of energy emitted from the Prometheus, gentle and golden instead of the harsh weapons fire of before. Where this light touched the damaged draconian ships, broken parts began to repair themselves. Holes in hulls, sealed, damaged systems, came back online. What are you doing?" asked Torque, confusion replacing his anger. "Showing you another path," replied Captain Bei. "We could destroy your fleet. Instead, we repair it." The golden light spread to more ships, healing rather than harming. The draconian crews watched in amazement as their vessels were restored. Humans are not what you thought we were, continued Captain Bay. We do not seek domination. We seek cooperation based on mutual respect. In the Confederation Council chamber, the golden light was visible on the large screens. The representatives murmured in surprise. They have mastery over matter itself, said the Altarian, crystal body glittering. The ability to destroy, yet they choose to create. Ambassador Lee nodded. That is humanity's greatest strength. We have faced our own violent history and learned from it. We know the price of war and the value of peace. On the Draconian flagship, Torque struggled to understand what was happening. His entire life had been built on the belief that power came from destruction. The concept of power through creation was foreign to him. Why? He finally asked. Why show mercy when you could destroy us? Because that is not who we are, answered Captain Bay simply. Prometheus was not built as a weapon of war, but as a shield for peace. After the Draconian ships were repaired, the Prometheus released the gravity fields holding them in place. However, their weapons systems remained offline. You are free to return to your territory, Captain Bay told Torque. Your weapons will reactivate once you cross the border. This incident will be reported to the Confederation Council. As the Draconian fleet slowly turned and began to withdraw, Admiral Kim contacted President Choi. Madam President, the threat has been neutralized. Not a single life lost on either side. President Choi smiled with relief. The perfect outcome. And the Confederation? In shock, replied Admiral Kim. As we hoped, they now see us differently. Good, said the President. It's time for humanity to take its rightful place among the stars, not through conquest, but through innovation and compassion. As the Prometheus returned to Earth orbit, its massive form clear for all to see, a new era began. No one would laugh at humanity again. 3 days after the battle, the Confederation Grand Council gathered for an emergency meeting. The Great Hall was filled to capacity. Representatives from every member species sat in tiered rows, all eyes focused on the center platform, where Ambassador Sung-Ho Lee stood waiting. The normal chatter and whispers were absent. Only silence filled the room. Many representatives kept glancing at the empty Draconian seat. High Commander Torque had been recalled to his homeworld in disgrace. The council leader, an ancient Altarian whose crystal body held the wisdom of 3 centuries, called the meeting to order. We gather today to address recent events concerning Earth. Ambassador Lee, you may speak. Ambassador Lee stepped forward. Unlike the last meeting, no one laughed or whispered insults. Thank you, Council Leader. 3 days ago, the Draconian Empire attacked Earth without provocation. The Confederation chose not to intervene in what you called a minor border dispute. Earth was forced to defend itself. He paused, looking around the room. Today I am joined by those who led that defense. The doors opened. Admiral Do-Hyun Kim entered, followed by Commander Ji-Woo Park and Captain Hyunjin Bai in her formal uniform. The sight of the Prometheus captain caused a stir among the representatives. For decades, continued Lee, humanity has been mocked in these halls. Our technology called primitive. Our species deemed barely worthy of Confederation membership. The display behind him activated, showing the Prometheus in all its glory. We allowed this perception to continue because history taught us caution. When advanced civilizations meet less developed ones, the results are often tragic for the latter. We needed time to understand the true nature of galactic politics. Admiral Kim stepped forward. The Prometheus represents decades of human innovation. We studied principles from many cultures and combined them in ways never before attempted. We created technology that can defend without destroying. The display changed to show the Prometheus alongside 6 identical vessels. A gasp spread through the chamber. The Zurin representative stood up. You have more than one such vessel? Commander Park nodded. The Prometheus-class Dreadnought is our answer to a hostile universe, not designed for conquest, but for protection. Captain Bay addressed the Council directly. During the battle, we could have destroyed the entire Draconian fleet. Instead, we chose to disable and then repair their ships. Not a single life was lost, the representatives murmured among themselves. This concept of power through restoration rather than destruction was new to many of them. Ambassador Lee raised his hand for silence. Today we propose a reformed confederation, one based on cooperation rather than dominance, where advancement is measured not by destructive capability, but by contribution to our shared future. The council leader's crystal form glowed brightly. A noble sentiment, Ambassador, but we must address the fact that Earth deliberately concealed its true technological level from the Confederation. Such deception violates our trust. Does it? Asked Admiral Kim. Every species here keeps secrets. The Altarians have never shared their crystal fusion technology. The Zurin guard their faster-than-light communication methods, yet Earth is condemned for protecting itself. The chamber fell silent again. What do you propose? Asked the council leader finally. Ambassador Lee stepped forward. A new beginning. First, sanctions against the Draconian Empire for their unprovoked aggression. Second, a review of Confederation emergency response protocols. Third, a technology exchange program where all members share advancements that benefit the whole. Many representatives nodded in agreement. Some looked uncertain. And if we refuse? Asked a reptilian representative from a system allied with the Draconians. Captain Bay answered calmly. Then Earth will protect itself and its allies. But that is not the future we wish to build. The debate continued for hours. Through it all, the humans stood firm. They did not threaten or demand. They simply showed what was possible when cooperation replaced competition. In the end, the Council voted to accept Earth's proposals. The Draconian Empire would face sanctions, a new emergency response force would be created, and a technology exchange program would begin with Earth leading the way. As the meeting ended, Commander Park turned to Admiral Kim. Do you think they really understand what happened here today? Some do, replied the Admiral. The others will learn. Humans have always been underestimated. Our greatest strength is that we learn from everyone around us. Near the back of the chamber sat a young diplomatic aide named Jihoon Moon. For years he had watched humans being mocked in these halls. Now he watched with pride as they changed the course of galactic history. An Altarian representative approached him. Your people have surprised us all. The ability to build such ships in secret, impressive. Jihoon smiled. It wasn't easy, but humans are good at solving problems. Indeed, agreed the Altarian. I wonder what other secrets your kind keeps. After the meeting, Admiral Kim and Captain Bay walked together through the station's garden area. Above them, stars shone through the transparent dome. The hard part begins now, said Kim, living up to our own ideals. Captain Bay nodded. The Prometheus was built for defense, but its real power is in what it represents, the possibility of peace through strength. Some species will test us, warned Kim. Not everyone wants change. Let them test, replied Bay confidently. Humanity has faced worse challenges. Back on Earth, President Hana Choi addressed the world's people. Behind her, images showed the Prometheus returning to Earth orbit. For generations we prepared in secret, she said. We built not just ships, but a vision for the future. Today, that future begins. No longer will humanity be mocked or threatened. We take our place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as builders. Across the galaxy, news spread of Earth's hidden power and unexpected mercy. Species that had ignored humans had now sought alliances. Those who had mocked now offered respect. And in the darkness between stars, the Prometheus and its sister ships stood watch, their black hulls absorbing light, their blue energy lines pulsing with power. Ready not to destroy, but to protect, not to dominate, but to inspire. A new order had begun.